the top that you press and it says go live on YouTube, and I might not have pressed the go live button.
You're in studio, aren't you?
Maybe. I was just staring at myself like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
It's just showing you what it's going to look like live. Like, this would be nice.
There we go. Yeah. We're live now.
We are live now, so there we go.
Hello, so everybody. As I said, Sam, this will probably be about 4 hours, if that's okay.
I got you.
I was actually
Let's do it.
I know, yeah. It was quite cool. Right, let's try that again. Hello, everybody. I'm going to press the intro button. There we go.
Kept you waiting.
Hello and good evening and welcome to the Cross Players, an irreverent podcast that one Apple Podcast reviewer, Master Queef69, called a real waste of talent. A waste of time. So we are the Cross Players and this is the CrossCast, your weekly wrap-up of all the big gaming news and a deep dive into these reprobates gaming brains. If you like what we do, please pop over to patreon.com/thecrossplayers and chuck us a quid so that Ethan can get his dinner. Okay. Anyway, enough of me. Let's see exactly what the cat dragged in for this week. And first up, you know him as having big fingers, but what about his big heart? For 6 years on the run, this big, chunky, fat-fingered man, has supported big-fingered families across the world, making sure that other people, ailed with their gigantic thumb, interested in supporting him. Head over to Ben. Head over to Ben's Big Fingers in yourfamily.com and find out more. It's Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hello. Just for the record, I don't have fat fingers. They're just long. Okay, they're actually quite slender. So you could. The rest is fat, but my fingers are perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's worse. Long fingers, probably worse.
Slender Ben sounds a little bit more insidious, if I'm honest. So I don't really want to go down that route. Ethan. Whispered the elderly woman as she tossed and turned whilst a fierce wind whipped at her window. A single bead of sweat rolled down her brow as the hollow and sharp sound of a distant owl beat across the garden. At the end of the garden, a huge pair of eyes stared up at the window. The eyes closed as a shadow moved towards the wall. Hand after hand, it moved upwards until it slithered and slipped through the window and rose ripe and large at the foot of the woman's bed. The woman opened one eye and rolled it down to find the shape of the man in front of her. In one quick movement, the shape switched on a bedside light and shouted, "I can't tell you how, but there's a very good chance we'll see Prime 4 next week. It's Nate!"
Wow.
That was a journey. That was incredible.
Welcome back. It's been a while.
Oh God, I know. It's been nearly 10 episodes. I've been doing lots of things and I'm very tired, but I'm very happy to see you all again. So this has given me life.
This is fantastic. And let's keep on embarrassing ourselves in front of the guests. This is fine. Speed cameras, heroin, jelly beans, 69s, Marmite, Strictly Come Dancing, Gooch, Hooch, and there's a moot about this hoose. All these things are very random, but not half as random as this gorgeous bundle of nerd. It's Ethan. There we go. That's really appropriate. Yeah. It's good. How are you? What did you have for your dinner?
I had a chicken burger, but not real chicken because I'm vegan.
Okay.
Thanks for confirming. I was about to call the police.
Even better. He's got the flats. He's certainly got the sharps. He goes from balls to the wall all the way to walls on your balls. He's kept our toes tapping and he's kept George splatting. It's the wonderfully talented composer of Grindstone. It is Mr. Sam Webster. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. How are you keeping? You good? You good over in Toronto?
Yeah. I can't complain. It's been pretty good.
You've literally you've usurped all of our views behind us. We were talking about it before because you pretty much got everything we thought a composer should have on his back wall, which is pretty fucking cool.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely stunning. So I think we're probably going to talk about some gaming news now. We happy with that? You good with that? Yeah. Let's do the news.
Yeah, very happy.
Very happy. Winner, chicken dinner. It's the Baftas. PSP, Vita, and PS3 stores are all reportedly closing. Microsoft is apparently buying Discord, and in case you miss it, there are a lot of free games on PlayStation. That is the news this week. Where shall we start, Ethan? Where do you think?
Shall we start with the Baftas?
Let's talk about the Baftas. So
The British Academy of Film and Television Awards that aren't for film and television because it's games.
Because it's games, right? Okay, so what have we got? Have we got winners? Have we got nominees? What's happened?
So they should be the baggers.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a lot of losers if you want, or I can give you some winners. Which would you prefer?
The hits, top ones.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean, we
we
can
only
start
like
with
wins
one that's very, very topical, which is the winner of the music BAFTA for tonight, which was Spider-Man Miles Morales. So congratulations to them.
Okay, cool.
Who else have we got? We've got Family BAFTA. Now, you'd think Mario would be a shoe-in for this one, wouldn't you? But it's actually Sackboy's Big Adventure, so...
Okay. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Another
game.
fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, that wasn't a Media Molecule one, that was it? That was a...
It's Lena Raine, that soundtrack.
Really? What was it?
I think she at least had a hand in it, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I think she had some tracks on it.
Just the one hand.
A single one.
Yeah, and then... lead performer, we've got Laura Bailey as Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. So congratulations to
Very
her.
deserved.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then who else do we have? I don't know because it's not showing me. So yeah, but a good night all round. And
Everyone's had a good time.
Yeah, multiplayer BAFTA, Animal Crossing: New Horizons. Of course, that's a big game.
Terrible multiplayer.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah,
Play it on Earth.
And I love that game.
2.5
Dearly.
minutes. Yeah, 2.5 minutes to get somewhere. Oi, multiplayer.
Yeah. Hades takes the narrative category, which is, I mean, we spoke about that before, haven't we? The way that game gives you sort of like a segmented story, a piecemeal story. So that's quite interesting to see. That one
doesn't have a story.
Exactly that.
It makes the roguelike the story. That's what's so clever about it.
It does, and for Sam's purpose, I'm eating my words because I said that game didn't have a story, and then I actually played it and realised it did, and I'm an idiot. So there we go.
There you go. There you go. And I'm trying to win. I'm trying to find out the game of the year, but for some reason they don't want me to know it. So
It's still happening, the battles, as we speak.
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, I think it's just like to kind of coming to a close, which is why I might be struggling. So let me get back to you on that one. But yeah, it seems like I mean nothing that we would have not expected. If that makes sense. It seems like most of the stuff that you would expect to win won. I mean, like you say, Animal Crossing as a multiplayer game. The infrastructure is tragic, but it's more of like I suppose, an emblematic award of like the fact that everyone's kind of been playing it through the pandemic and stuff. So
yeah, it's still a good communal game, and people made it work. It's a good multiplayer game despite itself, which is not what you want. But people, because 30 million people bought it, we've made these communities, we've made these things work. So maybe it is deserved, whether it is Nintendo's intention or not. I guess I still had a fantastic time playing it with friends and still do.
yeah.
Yes. So, Sam, from your side, did anything kind of jump out at you there in terms of honourable mentions or games that you played over the last 12 months that you're happy to see get an award?
I haven't played Miles Morales yet, but I would love to play that game. I had the list up and then I closed it. Most of these games I actually haven't played. I have played Hades, and for whatever reason, I kind of moved on to other games after I got past the first boss.
Meg,
you're in good company here. That's how we roll.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just like maybe I wasn't ready for it at the time that I picked it up. But yeah, it's gorgeous and it was pretty neat.
Reminds me a lot of kind of like Diablo 3 as well, because I was not in the right headspace when I originally played that, and I think I ended up putting like 60 hours into that game eventually, because I knew it was that good and it was that premium that I'd probably come back to it. So
yes.
Yeah,
I think it is one of those you pick up for a couple of games and you can appreciate it mechanically, and you're like, well, this is good. But then it's once you've sunk 5 hours that it gets its hooks in you, and you're like, oh my god, I need to play this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your guys' choice weapons in that one? Because I was a little bow and arrow was the one that I found was the most fun, with mixed with the boons from I think is it Zeus. And then when you fire your arrow at an enemy, it can like chain lightning attack them all. That was the one that I found was the most fun.
It had a really good feel to it. Like all the weapons felt different, and the sound design was pretty awesome.
Very good.
Yeah, super clean and crisp.
I think I'm a big spear player, to be honest. I really like the spear.
Yeah.
And I
just go for whatever weapon had the bonus on, because there's always one that's got you get extra darkness. I think you get 20%.
Right, yeah.
So I would just vary depending on that. But yeah, they're good in their own way. I think the first time I beat it, the only time,
humble brag,
was with the shield, I think, which was like the Captain America shield that you can just ping off people. But oh god, I love that game. I'm gonna start that again.
It's very cool. Really, really cool. Go on, Ethan. What were we going to say?
We've also got debut game, which is a good award to look at, and that was won by Carrion, if you remember that one. The big meatball-esque alien creature that kind of runs around and kills people. That one was an interesting, unique indie. I don't think you've kind of controlled something like that before. There is one game that you control something like that before, but it's I think it's like a spoiler. And then the game of the year, overall game of the year. Any guesses?
Last of Us Part 2.
Probably The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And that is a gorgeous game.
No surprise, but it is deserved.
Yeah. Absolutely stunning. Did you manage to get around to that one, Sam, or was it again another one that you need to probably play when you get the free time?
It's funny. Well, first I will say about Carrion that I did try that one.
Okay.
And I was pretty excited about that. And I think I played it on the PlayStation 4 first. Or no, I actually got it on the Switch, but I just had it hooked up, and I had to stop playing because the camera was doing these weird, like the camera was like tracking the monster. And it like messed up my eyes, and I had to stop. But other than that, like it was pretty interesting, and like really gory. And
the fact that there was no map put me off that game, because it kind of feels like a Metroidvania, but like a fundamental part of a Metroidvania is having a map to work to, and so I just ended up feeling lost, and that's like my least favorite sensation in a game.
Could that creature read though? That's the crucial part.
They could have done something. They could have made some sort of navigation component to it. Because I was going back through the same rooms over and over again and trying to, get my bearings straight.
I think a lot of complaints were like, even if you don't have a map, a lot of the rooms looked the same. Whereas if there was like a tangible difference, like in Hollow Knight, even before you've got the pin as to where you're on the map, every kind of space looks very different and distinct. So you kind of get an idea. I think a lot of people said Carrion was just grey corridors. Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But The Last of Us 2, you were asking about?
Yeah.
I think I did play. I think I maybe put like an hour into The Last of Us 2, and like it's gorgeous. The music and the sound was incredible. I think like there was like a lot of. I remember feeling there was a lot of story stuff that I was like, do I need to know all this stuff that's going on? Like it felt a bit like it was soap opera. And so maybe that turned me off of it. But also I'm like, I think too afraid to play it by myself. So I don't.
Just curious, with games like that, do you tend to try and wear like the 3D audio headsets or like the specific kind of gear to get you into the headspace?
I thought you were going to say like, do you try and wear like what the characters are wearing?
Oh yeah, I role play.
Sweet flannel.
I did that with Carrion.
Just a load of meat.
Spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah. Vegan meat, obviously.
Yeah,
apparently, Microsoft is exploring a 10 billion acquisition of gamer chat app Discord, according to reports. I think we're all big users of Discord because we tend to do it whenever we're playing our multiplayer games online. Anyone actually got any negative opinion on this? As long as it doesn't become a paywalled kind of use system, I'd be pretty happy with it.
It depends on what you think of things like surveillance or conglomerates. Like I've seen some people that are maybe a little bit apprehensive as to Windows, a company, and the greater Microsoft owning people's messages and backdated messages and information and things that they previously shared. It's the normal sort of concerns when someone big, it'd be like if Google did exactly the same thing. But other than that, which is only if you're, doing things you don't want shared, I think it's probably a good thing. It's probably only going to help the infrastructure, and it's probably going to make it like bound to Xbox consoles or something, which would only be a good thing. Maybe it would help with like integrated, Discord groups on Xbox, which would be fantastic. Like there's a lot of scope for good, I think, more than the bad.
Yeah,
cool.
I think in terms of Microsoft making their platform the most appealing to gamers by a country mile, like with the Bethesda thing, for example. I know that they've talked about the exclusivity of certain games going forward, but to me, the way that they're going to win that is not by having Fallout and Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive to Xbox, but rather having it day and date on Game Pass and then available for fucking 90 quid or whatever it is on PS5. So then you have you know which is the better deal. But then also if they get this Discord thing, you've got Discord Nitro, which is like the premium one, isn't it, with your higher bitrate and all that. You can have that included in Game Pass potentially, and then you've got higher quality game chat integrated with the Xbox on that platform, whereas with PS4, Switch and all that, you're just using your mobile. So with, again, it's just another way of adding like a pillar to Xbox ecosystem being the best way to play games, which is pretty smart, to be honest.
They are making
$10 million.
$10
million.
You've said like
10 billion.
They've just changed Xbox Live to Xbox Network, haven't they? I think that ties into that whole point. They're trying to build that, because look, no platform has managed to sort of come good on the dream of having a network of gamers. Like, fair enough, like the PS4 and the Xbox have got chat built into them, but nobody uses it really for like community like you use something like Discord. So I wonder if by baking it in, they're just trying to, the same way as, they're buying up studios to try and buy that history of gaming that they've never had. Maybe they're doing the same with like a community. Just trying to bring that in, which, might as well throw your money around if you've got it.
And if it works, it works, it's a winner.
Do you think that, because obviously it's Microsoft buying it as well, and Discord's become like a massive platform for non-gamers over the past 12 months. Like, so could you see like Skype just in like 5-10 years or something, Skype just ceases to exist and becomes Discord, and then it's just kind of like its own.
It's pretty normal with software.
I mean, they already dropped the ball and got usurped by Zoom in a year where, by all intents and purposes, Skype should have had the best year they had. Like they've already kind of made a lot of silly mistakes.
They've
in
usurped
terms of, like,
themselves with Teams, haven't they?
Yeah, Teams has replaced it.
Not wanting to get into a video conferencing debate, but yeah, Skype should have died years ago. The fact we're using it now for this podcast is a miracle. Like it's proper old and unsupported, and they've been saying they're going to phase it out for years.
Yeah.
What I will say is that on Discord and Teams, although I think you can do it on Teams, but on other services you can't do this. So
That's a good point.
I mean, realistically, this is a I don't know what this is, but
Is that
it's
some Ringo Starr paint art?
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is, to be honest, but there's this as well. So
it's really, really good. Sam, have you literally got a horse in the race with this? Are you really bothered by what happens with Discord or anything like this?
No, I'd forgive me because I think I missed the news cycle about this. Like I've had to kind of like try to figure out what exactly happened. So Microsoft is going to buy Discord, and then Discord is going to be like the built-in Xbox like chat or whatever.
Yeah,
speculatively.
Okay. That seems to be what the internet in inverted commas are thinking is going to happen.
Bloomberg reports.
Yeah, Bloomberg reports, and then they paywall the article, which is always great. Speaking of reports, allegedly Sony's PS3, PSP, and Vita digital stores are reportedly closing for good this summer. So in tandem to this story as well, we had some concerning reports about the clock on the PS4s, also bricking the device and not allowing you to basically play games with it, which has kind of thrown this games preservation conversation into full tilt. And our good friend John is going full tilt on Twitter. I can't wait to sit down and speak to him about this over the next couple of weeks. Ben, you've always been part on the fence, as per myself, he said, taking a sip of water. What are you thinking at the moment in terms of the retiring of stores? Does it ail you? Do you lose any sleep at night?
Can you come to me last, please?
Sam
loves it.
Sam
hates digital.
Have you picked up on this news beat at all, or in terms of games preservation, is that something you must hold quite strong? Because again, Grindstone, primarily like a digital game, it recently came out with. Remind me, guys, who...
IM8-bit, is it?
Yeah, IM8-bit.
Oh, do you know what?
The colouring
I'm just genius, aren't I? I can't remember. I can't believe I came up with that.
You need to calm down.
It was a fully guess. That
no more sugar. Guess. No more sugar. But Sam, does it mean more to you to have on a physical copy than it does digital, which could obviously disappear in a couple of years' time?
Well, yeah. I think definitely. At first, like I never when I first worked on Grindstone and it came out, I didn't really envision it coming out on like a physical release. I didn't really see that far ahead, I think. And then when I heard that was going to happen, it's like, wow, that's amazing. Like I'll be able to hold this work that like we did. And, but yeah, for preservation, like it's a funny thing. Like emulation too, like if one day Grindstone might be on like an emulator system that people will experience it that way. It's hard to say because who knows how people will experience games in like 20 years.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around what will happen to certain games. And yeah, like there were Vita exclusive games, right? That people won't be able to play anymore.
Uncharted Golden Abyss.
I think with Grindstone and like a lot of games like that on like the App Store, for example, that's quite good in terms of longevity, isn't it? Because with certain console platforms and like even mobile games, before there's this sort of just like smartphone sort of consensus, you'd have games that were just on old platforms forever, but it seems like Grindstone is going to be able to be played much like Super Brothers, for example, that came out in 2011. You can go and play that on a brand new phone now and it just kind of works. So obviously that's not without work from the developer as new models and stuff come out, but it's quite a nice thing that for mobile games, I think they have sort of like a longer shelf life, if you like.
Yeah, and I don't know like what exactly the numbers are, but I would assume that there are more people in the world that play games on their phone than there are that play consoles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a good point. Like, yeah, we get new phones. Some people get new phones every 6 months, But like, you'll mostly you're able to play the games that you want to play that you played on your phone from 5 years ago still. So yeah, it is interesting that mobile games have a longevity kind of that we assume, whereas PlayStation Vita or like console games, we don't think of them that way. So
yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
There's so many, and again, bringing it back to the original story, so many good games that are digital only on these consoles that probably are going to get lost now, and I can't remember off the top of my head any of them.
Or even like digitally accessible older games, things like Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 are available on the PS3 shop, but obviously physical copies are in the hundreds of pounds. There's also no other way of doing it right now because of different licensing issues, because Capcom very likely wouldn't work to relicense Mega Man Legends again. It's those little things that fall through the cracks, and there is the odd exclusive, like, you know, we have things now like Journey, like Flower, and those games did exist back then for the Vita and the PSP. So like, so many things slip through the crack, and this is where the argument for emulation comes in. It's where preservation lacks. In an ideal world, we want these games to be preserved by the platform holders. Like, I want to go on my Nintendo Switch and buy a Game Boy game or a Game Boy Advance game, so I don't have to go online and spend £100. But if they are not preserving them, this is where the argument for emulation comes in. And if I can get a Game Boy Advance game on my laptop for free, and I can't buy it on my Switch, I know what I'm going to do.
So I know I'm going to come to Ben last. So just continuing the article over at Eurogamer.net. So there's no indication of how the move might affect games purchased prior to the store closures as yet. Presumably players will still need to be able to re-download the purchase as required, but more should be revealed in Sony's official announcement due at the end of March. Ben, you were last here. I know you don't really have an affinity for these consoles, but if it were to be, let's say, a Nintendo Switch in 10 years' time, and you had your digital games on there, and you were unable to buy any of the wonderful games that were still in the store, how would you feel?
Yeah, I'd be annoyed, obviously. Particularly if I couldn't access stuff that I'd already paid for. I think that would rub me the wrong way. I think the only kind of counterpoint to this, people, if you've bought something, it's yours and you should be able to use it for as long as you own it. You know, I don't think you should pay £50 for something and then have it taken away from you. That seems incredibly unfair and wrong. I guess my only issue is that I find myself kind of on the fence, like, take more of an Eastern philosophy about ownership, and that I don't feel like I'm not comfortable with, I've bought this is mine, therefore I can never let it go. Like, I feel like maybe it would help us in the West if we were a bit more, you know, if you love something, let it go. Like, you've still got the memories of it. It's great. It's got taken away. It's not the end of the world. You're happy and you're healthy. And yes, it's art, but this has happened throughout history. Books have been burnt to cinders. We've lost, you know, intelligence across the entire Western world before. These things just happen. And
but
like, I get people are really passionate about it, and I love that, and I completely agree. Between, you know, I get as much physical as I do digital these days, but at the same time, that it's like, let's just get a bit of perspective about, you know, life as well as video games.
Nate, rebuttal.
Other shit stuff has happened, we shouldn't allow more shit stuff to happen. That is such a granddad's argument of like, well, I paid my taxes, so like, we have the capability to preserve things digitally. We could have games that people spent 3 to 4 years making, they poured their lives and hearts into, that could just get lost into the ether. Like, if we can preserve them, work should be done to do that. And Sony especially have the responsibility to uphold that. You know, I don't think you can be a platform.
They have a responsibility to their shareholders. They don't have a responsibility to us, unfortunately, as much as we'd love them to. They don't. They're a company that
I think
they should,
they should, yes, and that would be great if everyone was happy and healthy and peaceful. But
I know
they're
you're
a company that are trying to make money.
Realistic about it, but I think the fight for preservation is going to be done by pirating and emulation for most of it, and I think yeah, you're probably right. Maybe they don't think of it in this way, and they're like, well, we're moving on. This is where we make money. We're not going to make any money from the PS3 download store anymore, are we?
But they've said as much. They've come out and said people don't care. Like, we don't make any money off this shit. We can see from the amount of backwards compatible games that people actually play that there's no market for it. And at the end of the day, that's how they see progress. We don't, because we care about this stuff more than a giant corporation does.
Yeah. But then let's look at what Xbox are doing. You can go on an Xbox Series X and you can buy Xbox games. You can buy Xbox 360 games. They are being retroactively bumped to 60 frames. They are being upscaled. Xbox, the other end of that spectrum, are doing a fantastic job. And
but is that because they care about preservation, or is it because they've got no first-party games to exhibit? So
it doesn't matter to me.
Halo. No, I'm not joking.
I think,
and they're systematically trying to kill physical media at the same time.
We've got this.
There is the problem of they also have Game Pass, which is exactly that immaterial thing of where they don't want you to hold things forever. So it's very difficult to kind of hold either of them as good.
I think it's hard to do with any of them. I think it really is. I think Nintendo can be appalling with it as well. They have been in the past. How many times?
Mario's getting killed next week.
Yeah, exactly. It's dying. But how many times?
Mario. If you look at, I don't know about you guys, but the scene in Back to the Future when Marty looks at his family and it's disappearing from the image. I looked at my Mario 3D All Stars box before, and the sunshine was just slowly fading away. So by the time this podcast is finished, it's just going to be a red box with nothing on it.
Max in the chat has said you'd like to hope that in a more digital store and digital content focused generation, that these stores will stay online longer. The Wii PS3 gen has been online for 15 years-ish or whatever. Does this mean the Switch could last 20 or 30 years? So there we go.
It depends.
He also said iPint as well, which is a really good game, by the way. So good.
It depends if that platform is the platform moving forward, and the game's requirements are the things that change. Because like iOS, that platform is exactly the same, and the only thing that's changed is the requirements. So there is still kind of quasi-generations in a way. So if Nintendo have said they do want to kind of unify platforms, and moving forward they do just want to have and I think they should just have a Switch platform moving forward and come back to this and this be it. So if that's what they do, then we might have this platform for the next 20 years, and that's the ideal scenario.
I don't think I think we're at the point now where they can't sell us Super Mario's anymore. We're now at the point where I feel like we're going to reach a level of standardization as we have with the App Store. Like we were saying then, you can kind of, even if the requirements have changed and you couldn't necessarily download a game that you bought 10 years ago, it's still registered as a purchase in your library type thing. And I think that's going to be similar with Nintendo going forward. Obviously, the only thing to note with that is, as opposed to smartphones or tablets, consoles can change the hardware drastically, especially with Nintendo, who just like to be able to snap the fucking controller off the side or have an additional screen. So in those cases, obviously it's difficult to play those games. But
chuck the microphone in there, take the microphone out. You need a pen now. Waggle it.
Exactly. With the
3D. No, it's not.
Hold on. I am calling it there because that is enough on the game preservation point. Ethan, next week. And what is important to us at this point is moving on to the next section, which is our topic of the week. And this week we have said, what are our favourite video game soundtracks? So we probably had a little bit of time to think about it. And I'm going to go to Ethan first, because I just cut you off, Ethan. So Ethan, what do you think?
Thank you very much. And I'll just continue my last point now. I've got a few quick... do you want me to just jump straight into my favourite... one?
Can anyone else? Sorry, can anyone else hear a bit of static?
Yeah, I've got that static as well.
I don't.
Is it your game, Sam?
Could it be me?
Could be. It might be.
You're coming through slightly loud, Sam.
I am.
Only a tiny bit.
Coming in hot.
There we go.
I have some monitors on. Maybe I'll turn them off.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's gone okay.
That is slightly better already.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a heated gamer moment there.
It was actually quite apt. We were going on favourite video game OSTs, and we were all going like, "What's that sound? What is it?
Yeah, sorry.
Is
it better?
Okay. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
it's a tiny bit better.
I'm actually refreshed that it's the guest for once that has the audio issues, not us. So don't worry. Ethan, go on, mate. What were you on about?
Honourable mentions first, guys. That I'm just going to rattle off very quickly, Dan, because I know you're on a tight schedule here.
I will come at you.
Guitar Hero 3: Legends of Rock soundtrack. Do we have any thoughts on that? Absolutely incredible soundtrack. Obviously not
licensed music.
Yeah, it's all licensed music, but it's all licensed music.
My favourite Beatles album is the best of the Beatles. What are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, well, again, that's just why it was an honourable mention. I'll just go on to some of the others. We have Spider-Man on PS1, Super Mario 64, the Minecraft soundtrack is an incredible soundtrack. Skyward Sword is another one. And I've also put Wolverine Adamantium Rage on Sega Genesis.
Do you understand?
Incredible soundtrack.
Honourable mentions are just meant to be like.
Yeah, and then just one more honourable mention, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES, or Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles on NES, which is an incredible soundtrack.
Oh my god, Ethan, you marry me.
Also Mega Man 2 as well.
Yes.
So you've just covered
So
off
there's
pretty much
my
everyone else's.
48 honourable mentions, and then that leads me into the greatest game soundtrack of all time, in my opinion, which is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Very nice.
Good old Koji Kondo.
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild's soundtrack is incredible, but when you go back to an older 3D Zelda game like Breath of the Wild, like Ocarina of Time, and you load it up and you see Link riding Epona through that field, and it's just it's absolutely magical. And I had that soundtrack on CD, and I can just randomize it, and any tune that comes on, I could tell you which exact moment of the game it plays at, and it's such a huge part of that game being potentially probably my favorite game of all time. And I think even though what they did with the music or lack thereof in Breath of the Wild was really smart, I can't wait to hear actual big orchestral booming Zelda themes and little Zelda tunes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, not necessarily anything specific to say about it, but that's just my favorite soundtrack of all time.
Beautiful. Nate,
Very cool.
So your 48 honourable mentions first, please, and then your pick for your favourite. Two honourable mentions.
Two honourable mentions.
First word, film.
One is Ape Out, because that soundtrack is not just a soundtrack. That game is the soundtrack, and it's incredible. And obviously, all right. But the way they did that jazz percussion and made it work with the game is absolute genius. Second honourable mention is Katamari Damacy, or Damacy. I think I've said that wrong. Even just the main theme, they're like but like that. When you play that game, I feel so excited that I'm playing that game. It's so joyful. It's so funny, and everything about that game is encapsulated in the music in such a perfect way. I just think it's one of the most perfect encapsulations of what the game is trying to do in the music that you'll ever see. And it's just really, really fun. But I will go with my top one as Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP by Jim Guthrie, which is really evocative, kind of some piano medleys, but a lot of guitar as well. It's really slow, and it works with kind of this semi-fantasy gameplay and this beautiful pixel art to really, really bring this emotion to the gameplay that otherwise I don't think would fall flat. It's still a really good game, but it just pulls at what their game has and extends it in a similar way to something like Celeste. But I think Sword and Sorcery needs a shout out because not everyone knows about it. It was an iOS game originally, which is where I played it for the first time. It is out now on Switch. So if you've never heard about it, Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, go check it out.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's the only game soundtrack that I listen to outside of when I'm studying and stuff. That was my other choice, but I knew you were going to pick it, so I didn't go with it. But
it's so good.
Incredible.
That's actually the soundtrack that got me into game soundtracks.
Oh, right.
It's the first one that I listened to and was like, oh my god, this is proper music.
This is just music that's good.
Yeah, in a game. Whatever next. Yeah.
Any honourable mentions from you first, Ben, before you go into your top pick?
I'm going to double Ethan's 48 to whatever double 48 is. So yeah, Super Brothers is a brilliant shout. And Nate, you mentioned Celeste as well. I think I've talked about that soundtrack probably far too many times on this podcast anyway.
Lena Raine deserves every award, every medal. Even the Minecraft stuff she's done recently was amazing.
Cool.
Got also, Grindstone. I need to mention that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
have to
absolutely.
Because obviously we're not just blowing smoke up your ass, Sam. It's like last year. We don't actually have a soundtrack of the year category in our awards. That sounds incredibly formal. But we did discuss it as I think we said yes, it would be our soundtrack of the year.
Wow.
Think on that as
It was brought
well.
up a lot in the WhatsApp.
It was a lot in the WhatsApp, but we were because we really loved Streets of Rage 4's soundtrack. We were just absolutely banging that non-stop, and it kind of got to Grindstone, and we did make comparisons. We were going we could easily listen to both of them, and I've been playing both on repeat now for as long as the game's been out. Sorry, Ben, carry on.
Other honourable mentions. Yeah, Streets of Rage 4. You mentioned that, Dan. Donut County. It's got a really cool sort of mellow soundtrack. Again, we mentioned Hades earlier. I think Darren Korb, who does all of the Supergiant OSTs. So I've never played Transistor, but I listen to the soundtrack all the time. Really good, as is the Bastion one. But I'm going to go for Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Because it's just it's not my sort of music at all. I wouldn't normally listen to it's because it's quite sort of synthy 80s inspired stuff. And it's just incredible. I can listen to it like a full album. It's one of my favourite albums, and it's a video game soundtrack. So that I think, look, and most of what I think, if not all of what I've said there, are indies. I think indie soundtracks just always seem to get it right for some reason. Mm-hmm. Even like what I've played recently, Katana Zero, brilliant soundtrack. Again, can listen to that all day long. Shut me up, please, Dan.
He's going to keep going.
Those interesting between Super Brothers and Sayonara Wild Hearts as well, as they're both kind of like album, visually album games as well, if that makes sense. Like Sayonara Wild Hearts is kind of like a playable album, isn't it? And then so is Super Brothers in a way. So
Ape Out definitely is. The worlds in Ape Out are called sides, and you play it as an album.
Yeah. Just one more, which is a more kind of video gamey, sort of chip-tuney one, is The Messenger soundtrack.
Yeah, that's about
incredibly good. And that, if you want to get in like that flow state to get some work done, if you're up against a tight schedule, bang that on both discs. Incredible.
Absolutely.
Really good.
Really, really cool. I'll wheel into my. I think we're getting a bit more feedback. Sorry, Sam, to be a pain. It's only a tiny bit. Only a tiny bit. Shall I give you my honourable mentions? And I love how you said indie games. I've been like, oh shit, mine are all AAA, so let's put an indie game in there. Nate, I'll probably get you bopping away to that, but David Fenn, Moonlighter.
Yes, Moonlight is a great OST.
Yeah, Moonlighter is absolutely fantastic. I think just some of the main tunes in that and the actual main Moonlighter theme when you're running the shop is probably one of the most fun songs, especially as it goes to the beat of like the sunshine kind of going down and everything working. So yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Persona 5, absolute no-brainer when it comes down to being able to... In fact, saying that, should we wait for Sam? Give him a second. Because I want to get kudos for my picks. You will go kudos.
At least you're on.
All of honourable mentions are actually Grindstone.
Yeah. And we've gotten back. Wonderful. I was saying, so Moonlighter, Sam, was my first pick. And then I went for Persona 5, which is incredible in terms of music. I still love it to this day. Bear McCreary, God of War. Again, insane. Just absolute, so atmospheric. Love it. But my main pick, and I'm sorry, Ben, you're probably going to start laughing at me, Uematsu's Final Fantasy 9 is still... I will play that soundtrack to death. Literally every single evening as I'm trying to fall asleep. I love it to bits. It's so good.
Mate, the Final Fantasy music has always been incredible. Final Fantasy X is still the one that gets me. That main theme, they're like dun, 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 makes me want to cry anytime I hear just like that melody.
Yeah, it makes the game, like, if you go back and play it, some of the games don't hold up as well, but then the music kind of like drives through the narrative, so yeah, it works for me. And then we come to the pièce de résistance. No pressure, Sam. What's your favourite OST, and any honourable mentions as well, mate?
Well, I got some homework to do actually listening to you guys.
We'll make you
a lot of these soundtracks I haven't heard or played. But thanks for reminding me about Ape Out, because that game, first of all, is incredible, and it's like the music and the game are a singular thing. Like you can't separate them. Incredible. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you played Wilmot's Warehouse. On the Switch. It's the composer is Ellie Rainsbury. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But they did an amazing soundtrack for that. They've done some other really cool stuff too.
It's got banging reviews, 9 out of 10 on Steam, and it's a warehouse logistics game, which sounds really cool.
I've never even heard of this.
It's like kind of like a memory game / like you have to remember where you put all your symbols, like your little packages in like a warehouse, and it's also like relaxing in a way to just organize your stock, and and the music is really kind of like arpeggiated and just like wavy and cool. That would be, I guess, an honorable mention. I don't really have like a real list, but Breath of the Wild also incredible. Just the way that the music just flows in and out depending on where you are and how fast you're moving, and just like it felt very organic and beautiful work. Also, there's this game Nidhogg. It's like a sword fighting game.
I love Nidhogg. Nidhogg 2 is so good.
I've played the sequel. The sequel is really good too. Great soundtrack on both of those games. I guess we're talking about indies. What was the other game? Goner 1 and 2 have really good music.
Yes, they do.
Super great soundtracks, really good beats. I'd say like my number one, like if I were to have one, the soundtrack that like maybe got me into wanting to do soundtracks was Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, not quite a traditional like game soundtrack, but like the concept of radio stations was so cool to me. Being able to have that control and have all that music that you can kind of like, depending on what station you're listening to when you're playing the game, what you're doing, like your experience is going to be different, and that's pretty neat. And just like incredible music.
Is that game the first to do that? Because obviously we've seen, it's such a good point. It's like the soundtrack, it influences the mood, and like I remember playing Fallout 4 and I'd be taking a stronghold, and depending on whether or not I had Diamond City Radio or Classic Radio was whether or not I'd go in and just massacre everyone, or go in and like do it in a different way, because it gets you just hyped up, doesn't it? Depending on what tunes we're playing. And it's the same with Cyberpunk and or the GTA. So is GTA the first game to properly do that? Because I think it probably is the one that kind of
GTA 3 is the first one I can remember having radio stations.
They've always done it so well. Like even when Chinatown Wars had a Deadmau5 radio station with original music, and then 5 obviously has like a Soulwax station, which is incredible. Flying Lotus, and then in the DLC, Blessed Madonna, had an underground club. Like even in the last couple of years, they have constantly pushed themselves as a really good platform for music. Like how so many lads of our like upbringing are like, I know this song from FIFA, when you talk about like Vita just a day or something. Like GTA did that worldwide for so many people, and it brought so many artists to people. And I think like as a game, they were maybe not the first, but certainly the best to do it.
Yeah.
I think Vice City is so important for me because I just constantly would loop the same station waiting for A Flock of Seagulls I ran to just play, because that is the best 80s song of all time. It is absolute banging. And it was even the one with the full like intro version that takes about 4 minutes to get going. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, what a pick.
I was the same, but with Kool and the Gang, Summer Madness. Yeah. And that was like the song that was in the first trailer I ever saw for Vice City. And it was like that, it just blew my mind. Like, it's so groovy. And yeah, that is the song I wanted to come on.
There's one song on there that's from there's probably a couple, but there's definitely one that's from the Scarface soundtrack.
Right.
I can't remember what song it was, but there was just something about going around in a Hawaiian shirt and just being a criminal, listening to the Scarface soundtrack when I was like in my late teens. That was just like the coolest fucking thing on earth. It just felt like, I am Tony Montana. This is amazing.
I had that feeling with GTA 5 though, because I mean, just like we were saying before, the way that these games kind of work, you're like driving around at night and then Kendrick Lamar like swimming pools will come on and you'd be like, fucking all the lights beaming down in a certain way. You're in like a really, and I'm like, right, I'm not going to damage this car. I'm just going to drive, enjoy the song. This is it. This is my mood. This is my vibe.
Right, like I'm a DJ in my part time anyway. Like, and the Soulwax radio station has got like Daniel Avery and stuff on there, and a lot of music that people wouldn't really know otherwise, like some like quite underground electro music. And it's so good to see these artists that have come out since and been like, I maybe wouldn't have the platform I have today if it wasn't for GTA. Like, the luck of getting on there.
Yeah, that's the dream.
I was going to say, I love how weird some games can be as well with their OSTs. And I always think of like Tiger Woods would have like the heaviest metal. And I'd be like, literally, or just like you'd be listening to Billy Talent on one of the games. And I'd be like, how does this go with putting? How is that conducive to like playing golf of all the things?
I was reviewing MX versus one of the MX versus ATV games on Switch like last year. And my girlfriend was just sat next to me on the couch, and then she's like, "Is that Asking Alexandria?" Because she's like a big Asking Alexandria fan. And I was like, I don't even know what that is, to be honest. It was just some like random music playing, but yeah, it's mad how like random songs. The song that was in literally every game I owned was "Sell Out" by Real Big Fish. It's in like FIFA. It's in one of the skateboarding games. Like every single game I had somehow had Real Big Fish in it.
Right. I can't believe we haven't mentioned Tony Hawk's either.
Yeah,
I
think the Tony Hawk 3 soundtrack shaped my life. I found out about people like RJT2 and Ghostwriter and those sorts of things, and then this little white kid from Bristol was like, "What's hip hop?" Those were monumental games in terms of licensed music. They were incredible.
I mean, just before we move off the music topic, I mean, since we've got Sam here, how did the Grindstone soundtrack come about, or how did like your career in making video game music start?
So I would say that, well, we're going to talk about Jim Guthrie a little bit because you brought him up, and also he's like super important in my life. And he's worked for Cappy, Sword and Sorcery, obviously, and some other things, and Below.
Below.
Yeah. Let's just talk about Jim. I mean, no, he's. He. First of all, I guess I'll go. I'm trying to think like where I should start. I guess. So, for years, since I was like a teenager, I was like making beats and songs and stuff just like as a hobby. Like just in GarageBand, like music, like a little music program. And my cousin is Dan Vader, and he is a director at Cappy. Like he directed Grindstone. He's been with them for a while. But for years, like, he's a little bit older than me, but yeah, he was there and making cool games and stuff. And I was doing my own thing. Like I was just kind of making beats, like not really thinking that I didn't really even have aspirations to like be a game composer. I just loved to like make music and stuff. And Dan was like one of the only people I felt like comfortable just sharing my music with, and like making him CDs of my stuff and sharing my beats with him. And I just always loved getting his feedback and seeing his reaction to them. So it's possible that like my songs or my beats were kind of circling around Cappy, like at the office. I think like maybe he was playing them at Christmas parties or whatever. So I did have that kind of like indirect relationship with the team. Like they kind of knew that I was making music. And then fast forward to like, that was like, I've been making music since 2015-ish.
Yeah.
Or no, before that, like 2010. And then in 2018, Dan told me about Grindstone and that they're working on this new thing. And he thought that like my beats could be cool, like I might be a good fit. And I was like, whoa, cool. But like I had to kind of prove myself to everybody else. I hadn't really got much experience. I did have like a little bit of work. He set me up with Jim Guthrie, heard my music through one of these Cappy parties, and we had linked up, and I had kind of done a bit of like maybe sort of ghost writing stuff and just like helping him,
Jim Guthrie exposed as using a ghostwriter.
That's Drake
Exclusive.
and Jim.
Yeah. I don't know if it's really ghostwriting, but
It's like proofreading, isn't it? I guess you were kind of like listening to it and giving him a bit of feedback of what you thought, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like looking back, like I'm not sure I was doing such great stuff for him, but we worked on a podcast together. I helped, like we worked on a little game, and then like nothing really came of it. So like I was kind of just like cutting my teeth, like seeing how he worked, going to his like awesome studio in his backyard. And like seeing how he worked and like how he organized folders. Like he taught me how to organize like my music stuff, which was huge. Like I didn't realize how organized you have to be when you're making a lot of stuff. Anyway, sorry, on a tangent. Dan told me about the Grindstone opportunity. So I spent like, I think maybe like a month just like making tons of music for them, like test tracks, demos and stuff. I just like every day I was just like making beats and I had a general sense of like what the vibe of the game was. Still a lot of like stylistic things weren't really hammered out. But I think my references were like Conan the Barbarian vibes with like J Dilla beats and MF Doom beats.
That makes a lot of sense in hindsight.
That's such a crucial thing for me, is like whenever I'm trying to get the vibe and idea of a game, one of the first, like I'm trying to engross myself in like the overall like theme and stuff, one of the first things I do is listen to the music. So I couldn't even begin to imagine like looking at gameplay or having like a general look at what the theme is and then having to come up with the music before hearing it, if that makes sense. I couldn't even begin to imagine what the music would sound like if I'd not heard it in the first place, so I can't even imagine how you would do that.
It's kind of like simultaneously the most fun part of it and the like most stressful part at the beginning, where you don't know, like it's a blank canvas and you don't know really what you're gonna do, and there's something exciting about that too. But like I made them a bunch of stuff and sent it to them, and I think a lot of it was probably, I know was not very good, but I think there was enough good stuff there because there was enough volume of music that the team liked it, and I met with them and they gave me the job. Yeah.
Did you adopt like Jim's processes for your own? Because I'm quite curious with that, because you do tend to find, again, a lot of creatives are very disparate in the way that they approach things. They've got their own kind of like setup and their own, I suppose, their own comfort zone of what they like to do. So did you feel that having that discipline got you into a better headspace to deliver this kind of project?
Yeah, 100%. Jim is like a workhorse. Like he works so hard. He's like up early. His like routine, just like his general routine and his attitude, is really like inspiring. And as I said, just like teaching me like the nitty gritty of like organizing my project files and my folders and like where, you know, naming conventions and how to like properly deliver music to like people. You know, I didn't know any of that. Like I would have just like sent like MP3s through Gmail or something to Cappy if I didn't know him. You know, so yeah, he taught me all that, like that technical kind of stuff. And at the same time, like he has, like he would, you know, he has plugins and stuff like virtual instruments that he really digs. And I was able to like kind of go to his studio and see like what I like. And he's amazing. We should get him on the show here too.
Oh, absolutely.
What now?
Yeah.
Come on, Jim.
Right now, let's Michelle.
One thing I'd love to know is like cutting your teeth on a video game soundtrack. Obviously, they're reactive in so many ways. Did you have to do any arrangement in terms of like scales or speed? Did you have any direction of like, we need this song, but then this song needs to change? Also, when we get to like, you know, a high score combo or this changes, was there any like difficulties you had reacting to that?
At first, I didn't really know much about that stuff. Like I was just making individual songs that could be played and looped in a level. That's all I was kind of doing at first. But then, as I got into it, I would collaborate a lot with the sound person at Cappy, Sean Lawrich. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's amazing. Like the sound effects in Grindstone are crazy good.
Yeah, they're really good.
His work is so good.
Meaty slices, everything's juicy stuff. Sean's amazing, and he also like helped me out a lot with like delivering material to them. And so he was my kind of like guy that I would talk to about. He would give me the direction for like, okay, we need you know, at the end of this world we're gonna have like a boss fight, so we want something like with more energy for that, obviously. And then like, well, you're just scrolling the map and not actually like in a level, like just navigating the map. We want like some kind of atmospheric music. And then I don't know if they ever asked for a theme song, but the theme song that you hear when you open the game just kind of fell into being the Grindstone theme song. And it's working well enough, I think. But yeah, there isn't too much like really like gameplay trigger, like music trigger stuff, other than when you achieve your goal for the level, the music changes when the gate opens, just to let you know, let the player know that like it's more intense now and the risk is higher if you stay here. Some people don't like that the beat drops out. I get it. It's just like, I think it has to happen. We're trying to figure out other ways maybe that we could tweak it. There wasn't really much super creative like Ape Out style like music. I kind of wish, you know, that'd be cool. But I think that's one of a kind.
Well. Yeah, I was going to say. It's a learning curve, isn't it? And I think the whole point, and Jim's no different, but you've got to cut your teeth somewhere, like you've said, and then you've got to deliver a project to be able to get that velocity on the next one. And it gives you the experience and the chops then to be able to say, right, okay, well, this is going to be X or Y, or I want to do cut and thrust. And I noted, well, we all noted several different, you know, composers that every single one of the games or any of the soundtracks they deliver are infinitely different compared to what they delivered previously. There's a lot like that. So I guess it's exciting now to know, well, obviously we can't know what you're going to work on next, but to get an idea of what your next delivery will be. But are you working on
them?
I know, don't tell Nate. Don't tell Nate.
You did Reigns Beyond as well, right?
Yeah.
I did. I
love those games. I haven't played Beyond because it's only on mobile at the moment, isn't it? Or Apple Arcade?
It's on arcade, I
can imagine it will go the same way as the others and come to Switch at some point, and then I'll give that a go.
That's a safe bet for sure. I got after Grindstone, the Reigns people reached out. They connected with Nathan Vella, who was at he was at Cappy at the time.
Yeah,
he's not anymore. But he connected that. So shout out Nathan. And yeah, I did Reigns Beyond, and it was awesome. I'm proud of that game and that soundtrack.
Cool. So different to the Grindstone soundtrack as well, like completely different direction.
Yeah, totally.
Equally amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
What genre of game would you want to do next? Because that's something that like you were saying about learning some of the tricks and the ropes from Jim, but I love the way we're all even looking at
Jim.
It's Jim, you know.
Jim.
So just like thinking of like the contrast in gameplay between like Below, for example, which is one of my favorite indies, and then Grindstone, which is such an amazing indie, but it's such a different type of game, which is a testament to the studio. But like, what sort of genre would you want to do next that you think would be like a unique challenge in terms of like how you would approach it? Because we were saying then, I know you said that like there wasn't as much reactive stuff, but like Below seems to be more sort of like long ambient music. I mean, there's like multiple volumes of that soundtrack, isn't there? It's like what sort of thing would you be interested in doing?
It's a good question. I actually am working on a new game right now that is that is a new vibe for me. That is challenging, but I'm excited about it. I can't really talk too much about it, but like the music that I'm making for it is going to be like Latin jazz kind of chill, like 70s style, like kind of stuff. And I want to learn more about that music and make some I don't know. That's a good question. I think Reigns was like a pretty big, like doing a sci-fi game after Grindstone was a pretty big switch. But at the end of the day, like my process was kind of the same, I guess. Like I was experimenting with new sounds, but like the way I made the music was like my process was kind of the same. It's a good question. Maybe like a Western. Western music. Yeah. The Red Dead Redemption soundtrack is pretty dope too.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
They don't mess about.
If you look at like the cadence of Hyrule stuff, and like obviously Chipsaw did quite a lot of the soundtrack for that, and that was an ideal like indie studio Zelda IP, and then like slightly more indie soundtrack makers. Is there any franchise that is your dream? Like, if I could do anything with that franchise, I would.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, like doing it. Like GTA is like to have a radio station in GTA would be crazy cool. I think that's maybe my version of that. Like if I had a station,
not just one song. You want the whole.
I want the whole station.
I'm here for it.
Honestly, though, a song on a station would be awesome too. But a station that I could have other artists that I love, like
like
would be
cultivate
dope.
What people play. Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't know. Listen, if the Zelda franchise is listening and wants some beats or something, like that would be cool.
Koji Kondo does listen. I think he's a patron.
Yeah.
Cheers, Nate.
Only at the $1 tier, but still.
We won't
Not
judge him.
Times are hard.
Yeah, he's not in the WhatsApp. Well, look, we usually go on to pick up and play, and we'll talk about the games that we're playing. So, should we really, really quickly just touch like a couple of minutes, like tops? So, I'll whiz through mine. So, obviously, my pickup of the week, Monster Hunter, arrives tomorrow. Nate, you played a shed load of that game. And I'm very much looking forward to jumping in. I usually hate these games, but for some reason it's really exciting me. I also played on the PC quite a lot last week, which was completely unintentional, but I bought it. called Tabs, and it's totally accurate battle simulator.
Oh yeah.
And
I want that game on Switch so bad.
It is a lot of fun. That is some of the most fun I've had, and I played for it about maybe 4 or 5 hours. Just literally sat there, just having an absolute ball. It's incredible, and it's this kind of like Command and Conquer kind of game, but you just put all your battalions out, different types, and you can have different like ages. So you might have like medieval at the bottom, then you might have like your really technical guys like vampires and stuff. It's just really, really batshit crazy. It's so cool. And then you put them all down. You just got to try and get through that level with whatever points you've got to spend on units. So yeah, that's so much fun. I did try and stream it at the weekend, but it wouldn't work. So there we go. Speaking of cool, Ethan, what have you picked up and played very quickly?
Pickups, no physical games, but I did get my copy. You're not going to be able to see it because it's all thingy, but my subscriber copy of Edge, this lovely, lovely artwork of Deathloop on the front, which you can't see because it's blurry, but it's really nice. You'll just have to take my word for it that it's lovely. And then I realised that I'd spent more than I would have hoped on microtransactions in Pokemon Go. So yeah, that's going to have to be something that I reassess financially. But in terms of playing Crash Bandicoot 4, I'm reviewing that game on Switch, so I've been playing a lot of that. But I've also been playing Crash Bandicoot on the Run, which is the brand new mobile game that just came out from King, who's like the company behind Candy Crush and all that sort of stuff. And the way that I would describe it would be, if Crash 4 is like the Pixar film, then On the Run is like the Illumination Studios film. It's like really colourful. The presentation's amazing. The animation's incredible. And it's like an on-rail, it's like an endless runner basically for Crash Bandicoot. But it's fun. It's fun to play. The microtransactions are extremely egregious and quite aggressive, to be honest. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to get without I'm having to craft this and wait for this to be ready. And, you know, like the normal shit of like 5 different currencies where you've got to wait to craft this. But then once that's crafted, you've got to wait till this is done, blah, blah, blah. But well presented. I mean, King have done a good job. It looks really good. It runs really well. It looks incredible. So, and it's free to check out. So if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan, it's definitely worth having a look at. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Very cool. I think Nate's ran to the toilet because he heard you were playing 2 Crash Bandicoot games and went to throw up. Ben, what are you going to say?
Music in that one as well.
Is it good?
Like they did they've done like a rendition of the original 3 themes from the original 3 Naughty Dog games, and it's absolutely incredible. So if you like the music from the Crash Bandicoot games, definitely go and check that out, because even though it's a bit shitty with the purchases and all that sort of stuff, the people that have made it do actually have an appreciation for Crash Bandicoot. So it's definitely worth having a look at the music, at least if you're not interested in the mobile game stuff.
Cool. Ben, what have you been playing? Pickups as well? Anything?
Yeah, pickups. I've got one of those days tomorrow. You know, when sometimes there's the perfect storm and everything arrives at once. Yeah. And I am scared because I've got the Byleth amiibo arriving tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got Monster Hunter.
This isn't the worst, is it?
Rise.
This isn't the worst. What's happening tomorrow?
And Xbox Series X.
What?
And I don't know what I'm going to do.
You're in trouble. She will not be happy. I repeat, she will not be happy.
Didn't we buy one of these a few months ago? No, that's not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. All my friends laugh at me. So yeah, I've got them turned up. So I'm very excited about the Series X. I didn't want to talk about it in our chat because Andrew was so bothered that he didn't get one, and so I felt awful. So I was just kind of kept
Me
it.
too.
Well, now I've talked about it on a podcast. So yeah, it's out the bag. So yeah, that's turning up. I'm excited about that. In terms of what I've been playing, Bravely Default 2 all week long, and I'm in danger of burning out on it because I've been playing it so much.
Which you do with JRPGs as well. I was going to say that's your like usual.
Yeah. And it's a very classic JRPG as well.
It's quite respectful of your time at the same time. Like it's got some quality of life stuff. Like grinding in it is super easy, like, and it's fun, and you can just speed it up and just almost just hold down a button and you just grind and level up willy nilly, and it's brilliant. And you can put you can put different bait down to attract certain types of monsters, so you can just keep fighting them over and over again. Superb. The fact that you can put the Switch to sleep, I think the old versions had something like this as well, but you can put the Switch to sleep and you'll go off doing little exploration missions while the Switch is asleep, and then you'll get back, wake your Switch up, and you've collected like items that'll up your job points or your whatever else. Collect little things that help you. So it's just little things like that you almost have to check into it every 12 hours to see what you've collected. And so it's got that kind of Animal Crossing hook to it as well that keeps you coming back to check in on it. So yeah, I'm 20 hours in and I've literally just got to chapter 2. So that's...
I played 2 hours of it and I'm absolutely loving it. And the battle theme when you're going into it is Final Fantasy IX in a nutshell. I was, oh my God. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it as well, surprisingly. But Nate, what have you been? Have you picked up anything? Any useless tat? Anything of cool stature on what you've been playing as well?
I'll swiftly go through Bravely Default 2, which I've been loving. But Ben's touched on everything I like about it, especially the sleep mode ship thing, where like you send your ship off, and after a maximum of 12 hours, you come back and you get loads of cool stuff. I just keep playing Bravely Default before bed, putting it down. Then when I wake up, I've got loads of cool stuff in the morning. Or if I play it in the afternoon, then it goes to the 12 hours and you get loads more stuff, which is wicked. And it's just a great JRPG. Other than that, I've been playing shitloads of Monster Hunter Rise, because I've been playing that for review. Which
excellent review as well, by the way.
It was fantastic. Really, really good.
Dankeschön.
Go on. Where can you read it? Get it out.
You can find my review of Monster Hunter Rise at Switch Player magazine, either at Patreon or switchplayer.net. Our lovely little magazine that me and Ethan work at. But I have put 50 hours into that game, and I will happily put another 50 in. It's the most accessible Monster Hunter game ever made. It's still a Monster Hunter game, and I really bigged up the fact that it is the quickest, it's the smartest, and it is the most accessible. But I know some people are still going to bounce off it. I don't want to reductively say it's like a Souls game, but it is in a way, because it's very deliberate combat. It's very based on the animations. Once you decide to do something, you've done that, and if a monster hits you in the frames that you've decided to make that attack, that's just what's happened. So it's kind of this very intricate, deliberate combat, which can still be quick and can still be fast-paced, and the additions they've made to movement are the best and most reactive the series has ever had. So it is literally I've played it since 3 on the Wii, and then 4, and then Generations, and then World. This is the quickest and the smartest it's ever been, and the most cohesive the many different elements of it have been. But it is still a little bit cumbersome and a little bit of a barrier to entry, because you already have to decide from 14 bloody weapons what you want to do. Like, who opens a game with 14 weapons and it's like, I guess I'll just do the gun lance. Like, it's already got so much mad stuff to it.
Pete does that. My mate Pete does that. Pete always does that. Like, playing with the gun lance. I'm like, God's sake, utopian man.
I know the weapons I like, but that's because I've been playing this series for 10 years. Like, it's still such a barrier to entry, and it looks so daunting. But I think anybody that wants to get into Monster Hunter, speak to somebody that loves Monster Hunter, speak to me, speak to Max, and also just give it... I know it's going to sound... You know when people are like, you have to watch the first 2 seasons of Parks and Rec to like it. I think Monster Hunter needs at least 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5, before it clicks. And that's
I think it's a weird one, that the fact they've put that demo out, I think that's put a lot of people off. Like, I saw Laurie on Twitter today saying, just tried the Monster Hunter demo, Fucking shit.
Because it's a game designed around a gameplay loop of getting items, making materials to make armor and weapons, and when you take that loop away from it and you just give you the combat, which is complicated, then you lose a lot of what you're doing it for. So then you just have a complicated game for no reason. So I do think the demo kind of doesn't do it favors in that sense. But also it's then hard to be like, well, no, buy the game and you'll like it because it's 50 quid.
Yeah.
But that's what I decided to do. I downloaded the demo and then thought, do you know what? I don't think this is going to give a good impression of the game. But I would rather trust you and trust Max and a load of other people that say this is brilliant.
It is,
and give it a go.
I'd rather trust Max. A couple of words I'd never expect to hear uttered on the podcast this time.
Other than that, I've picked up a couple of amiibo.
Oh, which ones?
I've got a couple of the Monster Hunter ones on the way. I've got a couple of the Smash ones on the way. I've got Banjo obviously on the way.
You've got a Banjo on the way.
Word. I just picked up Murder by Numbers, which is 50% off on Switch at the moment. And I've been playing a little bit of Immortals, but I dipped into it. I don't know if we've got time to talk about it.
Nah. Do it next time.
I am just hearing a bit of static again.
I think that's if Sam starts talking, then we'll probably get rid of the static, because that seemed to happen last time.
Oh, okay.
So, timely, Sam, on your side of things, what have you been playing recently? Have you had any time at the moment to play games, or what are you playing?
Yeah. I mean, do I have time? Probably not, but I still play some games.
Yes, good man.
But I have like a huge back catalog of things that I haven't played that I want to get to. But do you still hear static? Or
no, it's gone now. As soon as you start talking. Yeah.
So it was me. It was me the whole time.
Yeah, I think so. It's just I think whatever's happening when the microphone's just like stacking, it's holding there. It seems to be getting worse, but it's okay now. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Don't worry. It's okay.
Yeah, there's a few games that I've been playing. I don't know if you've played Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I've literally just finished that game. Yeah.
I haven't even actually played the game, but the arcade mode.
Yes.
I've been playing with some buddies, and it's just so ridiculous. And the maps, the publicly built maps, some of them are really creative and cool. There's one where you're a tiny little ant person, and you're in someone's kitchen, and you're sniping people from behind a milk carton and stuff. Really cool. Recently started playing Broforce again.
Yeah, good game.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And Gorogoa, have you heard of that one? Yeah, Annapurna. Yeah, super. I've maybe played for an hour or two, and very it's like nothing else I've ever played. It's just beautiful hand-drawn puzzle artwork that you're constantly flipping art around and trying to connect things and solve puzzles, and really cool music too. And off the top of my head, that's and Super Mario Odyssey I finally started.
Yeah, great game.
And it's incredible.
Very good game.
Yeah.
Sam, I've just got to say, you're getting more praise here. Lewis in the chat is saying, I'd just like to say to Sam that the Grindstone album is one of the most consistently brilliant albums I've listened to in recent memory. Love it. So there you go. More praise.
Thank you.
And he's from Scotland as well, and he's got absolutely no taste, and he still likes your music. So that says everything from him. Speaking of absolutely no taste in music, I've got a game for you guys. So should we play What's in Your Pockets? Yeah,
let's play.
Play a game. So traditionally, what's in your pockets? I will come at you with some inventory items, and I would get you to guess exactly what the game is based on those items. However, due to our esteemed guests this week, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit, and I would do game soundtracks. So I'm going to give you 10 songs from a game soundtrack, and you've got to guess which game it is as quickly as possible. So
shit.
we are going to start with, obviously, 10 points if you were to get it on the first go, cascading all the way down to 1 point at the very end. For Sam, so all of us, we only get one guess per song. So every single song we go around, everyone gets one guess of it, then we'll move on to the next one if no one gets it, and we'll keep on going. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and then I've got a rapid fire round at the end as well. I spent some time on this.
This is like
I like
Nevermind the
this.
Buzzcocks. Do you remember that?
It is literally that,
Mm.
so don't ruin it for me. Are you ready for this, Ethan?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Are you ready for this, Nate?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited.
Sam, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Yes. Ben?
Come on.
Yes, come on. First song of the first game, Pervert.
Skyrim.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to play the songs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to play them.
No.
This is song titles? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
song
fucking
titles.
not gonna know any.
Hotline Miami.
No. Next
Katana
song.
Zero.
Katana Zero. No. Anyone? No? Anyone else?
No.
That's it. Next song, I Don't Care Anymore.
Is it Bully?
It's not Bully.
Is it Persona 5?
No.
Life is Strange.
No.
Good shout.
Going for anything, Sam? Can you guess? You pass?
I pass. I don't know.
Yes, it's fine. It's okay. The next song, Gimme More.
Oh, that rings a bell. I mean, there's probably about 1 million songs called Give Me More, but that rings a bell.
Not a Hero.
Nope.
Is it Grindstone?
It's not Grindstone.
I don't even know my own soundtrack
No.
song titles, so I'm not gonna get any of these.
Oh, you
Are
will.
these-
Oh, you will. Don't worry.
Can these be licensed songs from like Tony Hawk's or something, or is that cheating to ask?
No, they can be.
Oh, they can be.
Some
okay.
games will have that. Some
Um,
games won't.
I don't know. I'll say Tony Hawk's Underground.
It's fine. Regulate.
That's Warren G. Is it Grand Theft Auto?
He's
4.
Grand Theft Auto
San
3.
Andreas.
no. You both
Oh.
guessed. So Nate and Sam have got a guess.
Ooh, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Grand Theft
No.
Auto 5.
Yeah.
Hey!
Pervert. I don't care anymore. Give me more. Regulate. Everything she wants. Pure Shores. ADHD. West End Girls. Gin and Juice. Still DRE. There we go.
Oh,
Wow, Sam storms into lead there.
I think I would have got it from Western Girls because I so remember Pet Shop Boys being on there.
Yeah, there you
or
go.
was it the
You
E17
can
version?
just imagine driving around Los Santos. with-
So I thought people would have got it on Gimme More. It's such a great song in that game. Okay, next game. First song.
It's a shame you're not playing, isn't it, Dan?
It is a shame, mate, because otherwise I'd get them all. So, next one. Conversation Interrupted.
Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
No,
Persona 5.
no.
I'm going to guess that every
I
fucking
know you
time.
are. It's fine. None of the games are Persona 5.
Okay, I won't.
That's fine.
I'll have a guess.
Go for it.
What about Max Payne?
Ooh, what game? No, it's not.
I've got no idea. Phoenix Wright.
No. Next one. New equipment.
Control.
No. Good guess. Not that should sway you in any way, but
Half-Life.
no.
Don't know.
No. Ben's giving up. Sam, no. Next one, catching up. Catching up.
It's Animal Crossing New Horizons.
It's not Animal Crossing New Horizons.
They're 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 p.m. anyway.
That would be a good one. That was Dan's nervous laugh because that's the next one.
Is it Miles Morales?
Ooh, no. Right, next one. No, next one. Camp approach.
Ooh, a short hike.
No.
Oh, good guess though.
No, not Firewatch.
Oh, he's got it. Well done. Didn't hear you say it. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Firewatch. He's got it.
Days.
Well done.
Got the tension there.
Well done. That was really good.
Damn it.
Conversation interrupted. New equipment. Catching up. Camp approach. North backcountry. Something's wrong. Bear tooth point. Canyon sunset. Cottonwood hike. And the last one is stay on your tower and watch. Which made me laugh. If you didn't get it on that one, I'd be worried. That's this is getting tasty. So Sam's on 7 and Ben's on 6 at the moment.
Ooh,
Nate and Ethan
come on.
dragging behind.
I mean, I said GTA, so I feel cheated, to be honest.
You should feel cheated.
I've been told good guess a couple of times, so I'm going to be able to sleep tonight regardless.
And Ethan was robbed, so he's not.
It was a good try.
It was a good try. Okay, so next game, first song. Something good.
I was just like thinking it literally could be anything.
No idea.
No, no one, no. Okay.
If the next one's something bad, I'm really
This isn't the Interpol song, I'll give you that. Obstacles.
Celeste?
No.
I'm just going to chuck names up there. Katana Zero.
No.
Trying that.
Super Meat Boy.
No.
Mega Man 3?
No. Okay, next one. Kids will be skeletons.
Undertale.
No.
Ooh.
Good guess, though, Ben. A good guess.
Got a skeleton in it.
Ooh. Oh, I know the game I'm thinking of, but I can't think of the name now.
So what have we got? Something good.
Obstacles. Kids with
skeletons.
All I can think of is Kids with Guns by Gorillaz.
Yeah, same.
Kids with Goods.
That is the band, not just Gorillaz with Kids with Guns. Next one. Spanish Sahara.
Oh, that's by Foles. So what's the game? Who's that?
FIFA 21.
No.
What game uses Spanish Sahara by
Death
Foles?
Stranding.
No.
I mean, it's got churches in it. Might as well have Foles, isn't it? It's such an indie game.
That's what I was thinking.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
No, although Kojima games do tend to have decent soundtracks.
Oh, wait, maybe Assassin's Creed, the new one? No.
No. Would be impressed if there was a fall song in that. That would be pretty fucking cool. Next one. Mount Washington.
Mate, what is this?
The Division 2.
No.
That was a fucking shit guess.
It was.
So something good. What was the next one?
Something good. Obstacles. Kids Will Be Skeletons. Spanish Sahara. Mount Washington.
Tony Hawk's 1 and 2.
No. Next one.
Yep.
Crosses.
And it's not FIFA.
It's not FIFA. Very good.
It's not FIFA 21 anyway. Mate, this is killing me.
Pez.
No.
NBA.
There's a clue.
NBA
There's a
2K.
clue in that song. I've just told you. As in, not in the actual thing.
Crosses.
But think about who wrote the song. Think about what the song is.
Crosses.
Crosses just makes me think of Justice. That's not helping me.
I don't know who made that song.
It's all very obvious when you're looking at the bandana. Jose Gonzalez. Red Dead Redemption.
Nope. No more guesses from Nate.
It's not. No, it's not The Last of Us Part 2, is it?
No.
No. I know that's got guitars.
It has
in
got
it.
a guitar in it. Yeah.
Fucking guitars.
This is killing all of you.
Why is Jose Gonzalez a clue?
You should know this game. I'd be pretty confident that you'd all know this game to say it. Okay, next. The Golden Hour.
It's killing me.
Do you want another clue?
Yeah.
One of you has already guessed this evening.
What was our guess when we guessed it?
Ooh, clever.
The Division 2. No.
Assassin's Creed.
No.
Oh my god, what is it? It's got Jose Gonzalez. That's going to bug me so much. As soon as I hear this, I'm going to be so angry.
You really will be.
It's not GTA 4, is it?
It's not GTA 4. That would be very cruel to do GTA.
Yeah.
And then
Very known for its mellow music.
this is the Golden Hour.
No.
Oh, I know
I'm
it.
none the
I know what
wiser.
it is now. I know what it is. Can we go to the next one so I can guess?
I don't think you've guessed this round, Ethan. Have you?
Have I not guessed? Can I guess?
Yes,
It's Hella. Is it Life is Strange? Life is Strange.
it is. Well done. It is Life is Strange.
You motherfucker. I'm so annoyed.
You guessed it in the last round. And Ethan went,
Well
good
done.
guess. And I was like,
Because
how
I know
are you-
it's a very guitar-y soundtrack. I should have got it from Jose Gonzalez.
I
Oh,
thought you
my
would have got
life.
it with Spanish Sahara, because that is a banging song in that. So Ethan got...
Is it bad that when you said Jose Gonzalez, I was thinking of the person that Undertaker fought at WrestleMania with Giant Gonzalez, who wore a massive overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Even worse.
Well, I got the point. So next round, Dan.
So who's
Okay.
really laughing?
Yeah, I know who's laughing now. Okay, Ethan. Next one. First song of the game, Frozen Lands.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
No.
See what you see.
Next one, Bananas.
To be fair, we
UK
haven't
rap.
talked enough about David Wise tonight.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Frozen
No.
Lands. It's
No.
gotta be. I don't know.
No. Silent Ambush.
Breath of the Wild.
No.
Call of Duty.
Ooh, no.
Ooh, good guess.
The Last of Us 2.
No. Ethan?
Resident Evil 7.
I'm going to allow it because you'd guess, but that was your second guess, Sam. How
Oh, shit.
dare you? How dare you? Ethan, anything before we go on the next one?
What did you say, Sam? Resident Evil? I'll say Resident Evil. Then.
It's Resident. No. Next one. Trust the Currents. That's CURRENTS.
Sea of Thieves.
No.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
He's got it. Well done, mate.
Hey.
Sam was saying Assassin's Creed in the last game as well, and he was proper happy. So, this is actually really, really good. So, we've got Nate on 8. Sam is on 7. Ben is on 6. And Ethan is on 4. As we go into the final round, which is the quickfire round.
Playful.
Literally. So, I'm going to give 1 point per guess. Okay? So, you all get 1 guess, and then that's it. That song is gone. And I just want the game. So the first game, Rising Up.
Streets of Rage 4.
Ben's got it.
Oh.
Well done, Ben. Next one is Ghost of Reach.
Halo Reach.
No.
Destiny.
Oh, no.
Hollow Knight.
No. Halo 2.
Uh,
Did you guess? I'm not giving you it. Sorry, Ben. You were going to say Halo, though, but sucks. Next one. Will's Theme.
Brothers.
No.
Men in Black, the game.
No. You should get this.
Moonlighter.
Yeah, there we go.
I knew the main character was called Will.
Extending that lead to 9. Well done. The E's just fallen off Ethan, so he's just Than. Okay, next one. City of Tears.
Hollow Knight.
Damn it.
See, you guys are just expending all your energy putting your hands to your head. Ben's just like straight in there with it. Like, okay, next game. Honeybee Inn.
Celeste.
No.
Super Mario
Galaxy.
No. Sam, last guess.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, no. It was Final Fantasy VII, the Honeybee Inn. Okay, next one. First Steps.
Celeste.
Breath of the
Wild.
Well done, Ben. That is taking Ben on to joint first with Nate. Both of them on 9. Sam on 7. Ethan on 4. Next one. Bone Dust.
Ha.
Hades.
Was Dan frozen?
No? What?
Oh, right.
No one?
It's not Hades then.
Not
No?
guessing? No?
Grindstone.
Yeah. You said you didn't know your names, but you got onto that pretty quick. That's good. Ethan's on.
I guessed off your little cheeky laugh there. So I'll have that point.
That's even good. Ethan on 5. Next one. Diet Docks.
That's Super Mario 64,
Sunshine.
boys.
64.
Ooh, I'll give Ethan that. He's on 6. Super Mario 64. Next one is the best thing about the game. Task Force Neuron.
Half-Life 2?
No.
Control.
No.
Octopath Traveler.
No.
Trying to think of games that you've hated on. It doesn't sound like a Ghost of Tsushima song.
No.
Final Fantasy 9?
How dare you? No.
No, don't know.
Nope. Any guess, Sam? Nope. It was Astral Chain.
Oh, fuck.
And it was the...
Astral Chain's a banger.
And that's the police theme. So, the police, police
Oh,
station.
damn it. So obvious.
And the last one, just for giggles. And if either Nate or Ben get this, they will win. If they don't, they just both win. Dragonborn.
Skyrim.
Ooh. Sam, who got that first, would you say, out of 3?
I think Nate.
Nate
No,
got
Ethan.
it. Ethan got it. Oh, drama. Late drama. It was Ethan.
I think it was Ethan.
Damn it.
Wonderful.
It's got. I mean, if I've got the Skyrim question right, I can rest easily having screamed Skyrim for the past 6 weeks on every single podcast.
Wow.
I think the fact I got it before Ben still means I win.
You didn't even say it.
Still got you both online. I'll probably think of a question in the WhatsApp group later and then see where you both get to, and then we'll announce a winner that way. But yeah, that was Nate and Ben on 9. Sam and Ethan both on 7 as well. Well done, chaps. That was good.
Wow.
That was fun.
Good showing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
Loved
showing.
it.
I know, great showing. Well, that's the end of the pod from our side. That's literally everything we had to do. I just embarrassed myself coming up with a lot of games at the end there. Ben, did you have a good time?
I thoroughly enjoyed that. We had a bit of a kind of an interview. We had some gaming talk. It was a proper podcast.
Yeah, actually,
Very good.
it was pretty organised for us as well, which I was pretty happy with. Yeah, usually it's a bit of a shit show. Nate, so you said about your review before, mate. We can find it over on Switch Player. Yeah.
If you're going to berate me,
I'm not bragging.
I'm not going to
I'm trying to
plug
be polite.
myself.
Plug.
So yes, I'm features editor for Switch Player magazine, which you can find us at switchplayer.net, or you can find us over on Patreon, and you can support our wonderful monthly physical magazine, which we can send worldwide. We make a dedicated Nintendo Switch magazine, and it's beautiful.
There we go. One of the only print magazines for it, and that is the most plug you're ever going to get out of me. Oh, and look, another one. Ethan, where can we find you online? and get all
What
your
Nate
stuff
said.
from?
Yeah, what Nate said.
That's pretty much it. That's it. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same. Are you drinking milk? No, it's not. It's a bottle. And Sam, other than the Grindstone OST and pretty much every other game that you kind of noted, I also spotted a Bandcamp online for yourself. Yeah.
Yes, I do have a Bandcamp. I think it's just if you search Sam Webster, that will come up.
Yep.
Or by Samuel might be like the link. But yeah,
Samuel.bandcamp.com.
I believe so. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This was really fun, and I appreciate all the kind words and the platform to come on here and talk about music.
Absolutely.
And games.
Yeah.
It was really good to talk to you.
No, it's been absolutely lovely, and I think from our side, like we have said it 1,000 times tonight, but we genuinely love the game, and the music in it was one of the first things we all kind of like jumped on, and I think it's immensely cool to have something like that on Apple Arcade. It's like a really, really new platform, and to get that kind of exposure is really, really decent, and hopefully it'll do really well for your career. It's been lovely having you on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Cool, and we can find
Thanks,
you on
guys.
Twitter as well over at...
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at I believe it's Hollit Samuel on Twitter, and on YouTube I have a YouTube channel. I've been putting music music I make on YouTube as well. Just Sam Webster. There's another dude who's like a bone specialist named Sam Webster, who will probably come up first. And someone actually commented on a YouTube video like, "You guys do you know there's a Sam Web on the Bone Dust
Really?
song?" He's like, "Do you know there's a bone specialist? Like, is this like a shout out to the bone?"
Is that why you named that song Bone Dust, to take out a bit of passive aggression on the other
Just
side?
a bit of SEO.
100%. 100%.
Backlinking.
Claiming my name back from that guy. His channel's actually pretty cool too. If you want to learn about bones and skeletons,
I love this. Literally, we should just get every Sam Webster now and try and figure out exactly what they all do, and then find their YouTube channels. That'd be really. That's like a podcast in its own self. I love it.
I'd love to chat to a paleontologist.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Name Sam Webster.
There we go.
So
Hook him up next week on the podcast. It'll be fine. Jim 1 week, just Jim first name terms, and then Sam Webster next. That'll be fantastic. So you can find us over on Twitter at the Cross Players. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you are watching this video. Pretty please with the cherry on top. This has been absolutely lovely, and have a great weekend. Even though it's Thursday night when we're recording this, but have a wonderful time. And cheers again, Sam. Night, everybody. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Kept you waiting.
Bye.